And we are live. Good morning, everyone. I am so excited to be back. I feel like we haven't seen each other in so long, but we are here yet again for another Comerica Business Sense Boot Camp segment. Now, I have to start off by saying COVID-19 affected communities across the globe. Though the world is beginning to open up, careers, businesses, and lives have been gravely impacted by this global pandemic. Comerica Bank excitingly has partnered with DiscoverHer Worldwide to bring 12 biweekly business workshops to the community. So we're really excited because the Comerica Business Sense Boot Camps are designed for the nonprofit founder, the service-based business owner, and corporate leaders to remain proactive in increasing your knowledge to develop your skills as we navigate this post-COVID world together. You don't have to do this by yourself, everyone. And so this is why we're here. So I am your host, Margot Blair, leadership development consultant and founder of DiscoverHer Worldwide Incorporated. DiscoverHer is a 501c3 nonprofit organization headquartered in Phoenix, Arizona. I have to say we're headquartered in Phoenix because we have people who aren't just local to Phoenix who are with us live today. But we have, and we're touching people and entrepreneurs all over the states. So our vision at DiscoverHer is designed to bridge generational gaps between diverse groups of women. Pre-Rona, we would do this through in-person professional and personal development experiences, such as conferences, trainings, and seminars. As we navigate this post-COVID world at DiscoverHer, we're cultivating virtual experiences such as these to teach the fundamentals that may have been missed, to equip leaders with the actionable steps that you can apply to your business and life immediately. And it also serves you well to grow your professional networks. I would be completely remiss if I didn't welcome and thank the person behind the yes of helping me bring this vision to life, Summer Fawcett, who is the National African American Business Development Manager for Comerica Bank. Summer, it is so good to see you. I mean, like, I know if we were in person, we would kind of give each other hugs, but hi, sis. It's so great to see you. How are you doing?
Hello. You know, I miss this. I really do. And I am doing well. We are doing fantastic, especially kind of moving out with all the vaccinations. Everybody's kind of able to see each other little by little. It's kind of like we're peeking around the door, tiptoeing out and seeing if the coast is clear basically before we start doing things. But we are doing great. I'm super excited to be here with you. Can't wait till we do it in person. I will admit that. I hope that the virtual part will just be hybrid of what we actually do in person. However, you know, this information is absolutely necessary still to this day. I mean, if you just look at the wealth gap with African Americans and the rest of society, it's still absurd. So we still need all of this information. We still need to create business owners. We still need to create scalable business owners. And I really think that the impact that this particular session will have will start growing the businesses. And that's what we want. We don't just want, you know, passion and to start your own business and to keep it inside the house. We want the generational gaps to be removed. We want those barriers to be removed. We want to be able to start looking at entrepreneurs as legacy holders. And this is a great way to start. And even for entrepreneurs or founders who never thought that maybe this is the area for them, it's good to get information. We're constantly learning. I mean, I learn things every single time we have a boot camp. And I'm just happy to be here. I'm happy to be the sponsor of this boot camp. And I'm so appreciative, Margot, that you are the host. I think your energy and your expertise and your emotional connection to what you do has a lot to say with what how you've grown as a business owner and able to implement that into other business owners. So I just thank you so much for allowing us to partner with you and for us to be here. And I'm excited to be on this journey with you guys.
Amen. And again, it's been, you mentioned the growth, right? That is the goal of entrepreneurship, to continue to grow along the way. I started my first company in 2013. I think I was fresh. I was fresh out of college. I was 19 years old, still wet behind the ears, and I had no clue what I was doing. At the same time, I had no mentorship. I had no real guidance. I didn't know anybody who I knew entrepreneurs, but I didn't know the successful entrepreneurs, the people who had multiple streams, multiple sources, and could really guide me along the way. And so I have a really deep connection to these boot camps because we're able to provide entrepreneurs, regardless of where they are on their journey, with fundamental knowledge, key strategies, tips, and tools, as we said, that they can apply today, but they can literally apply it today. Like, we're not just saying this and smacking, making it look cute and sound good. They can literally, if they sit here with us for an hour to 90 minutes, take really thorough notes, they will have the foundations for their business to begin generating profit so that they can begin investing in themselves more, and to begin to invest into coaches at a premium level to really take their businesses to a next level. So I have to agree with you. I had to learn this myself. And that's why I'm, wanting to partner with you and Comerica Bank to really bring this back to the community. So once again, Summer, and Comerica Bank, thank you so much. We couldn't do this without you, and so we're really grateful. So for all of you who are tuning in, thank you so much for joining us today. We are in our second series of the Comerica Business Bootcamp. We facilitated 12 segments last year. Now we're back again on the fourth segment of the second series. And so we want to invite you to be an active participant in this discussion. If you've been here before, you know the drill, but let me share with you what exactly it looks like to be an active participant. When you hear something that speaks to you or that resonates with you, let us know in the comments, whether you're live with us or you're watching the replay. If you would like one of us to provide additional clarity or an example of something that we're discussing, simply ask us, and I will make sure that my team and I'll do my best that my team and I get to all of the questions that have been answered. So be sure that you have your notepad and pen. Be sure to share and invite people into this conversation because it's going to be a really, really good one as well. Make sure you give credit where it's due. When you receive, not if, but when you receive any quotables and any major takeaways from this discussion, be sure to use the hashtag Comerica Business Sense Bootcamp Series. I know it's long, but it's purposeful because we will be able to find what you're sharing, and then we'll be able to share it as well. This allows us to see what your major takeaways are and continue to provide value to you. Finally, we'd like to thank each of you for joining us because you really could have been anywhere else in the world, but you are here with us to learn, to grow, and to prepare to make a greater impact in the lives of those you are called to lead. Without further ado, let us dive all the way in. Today's discussion is on the topic Upscale Marketing. And because this was the title, I had to make sure to bring my really good friend to the table. And so this conversation will center on designing a fail-proof marketing strategy. We will discuss the process of getting your systems to work for you, not against you. We will share mindset shifts, decision-making strategies, and how collaborating with others will allow us to get the right messaging in front of the right people. And so I'm super excited to introduce today's guest, my friend and soon to be Dr. LaNee Javet. LaNee Javet is a high-performance business and life strategist. Her superpower is in upscale business and personal development. She facilitates the operation of various projects, websites, social media campaigns, and multi-day events. As the CEO and founder of Upscale New York, the premier lifestyle, education, and empowerment movement for people of color around the world, she has grown a following of more than 75,000 people. So around this conversation of marketing, for her to grow her community that large, she had to get a few things right. So she knows what she's doing. She successfully raised $10,000 in crowdfunding in her first attempt and her first entrepreneurial endeavor. She reached 3 million page views from over 1 million visitors in less than 7 months from the original launch. LaNee has figured out how to use her power for good and to help others level up. She has experienced many obstacles in her life, some of which we'll talk about today, but she hasn't let them keep her from working toward her goals. In less than 8 years since becoming an entrepreneur, LaNee has become a social media superstar, a crowdfunding strategist, a mogul catalyst, and a high performance coach. LaNee Javet, we are so grateful to have you. How are you, my sister and my friend?
There we go. I am doing good. Thank you. How are you guys doing this morning?
So good. So good.
Good morning, Summer. Good morning, Margot. What a beautiful Wednesday here in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I know I always like to roll out the red carpet anytime you're coming to my stage, anytime we're in a room together. I just really like highlighting you because you are the real deal, LaNee, and that's why I roll with you, because you bring something genuine and unique to every conversation that we have. You pour in, you pour out, you serve, and you lead. And that's something that I value. And so thank you for joining me once again for the boot camp. This is your second time back. You're an OG with the boot camp series. So welcome.
Thank you. You know what? It's so funny that you say that because before I started my doctoral journey, you were the person that I called to speak into me and say, if I should do this, what do you think? So it's definitely mutual. It goes back and forth. It's definitely mutual.
And again, just to that quick point, before we dive into, we have some really good questions for you today, LaNee. And so, to that point, a lot of people just, they look at ways to just take from people, but you said it's something that was really key, and this goes into what we're going to be talking about a little bit later on in regard to marketing. But there has been and will continue to be a mutual benefit exchange. Summer mentioned that a little bit earlier, but again, it's that same thing. There's some camaraderie where I'm not just the only person benefiting from this conversation today, from the partnership with Comerica, from the conversation that we've had, again, not just exclusive to this one, LaNee. And so thank you for pointing that out and really just being able to open up this conversation, because that is a lesson. And so that's the first thing. If you didn't write that down, note that down, is leverage your relationships. Figure out what it looks like for you to add value to the people in your network, even as you're wanting for assistance for what you're working on as well. So LaNee, let us go ahead and dive in. I want you to take us kind of through your background and your professional experience, personal experience. Tell us some of the major lessons that you have learned along your business journey. I want us to lay this foundation before we get into all the marketing tech.
How much time do we have?
we got 90 minutes.
How much time do you have? Okay.
Right.
Major lessons. Yeah. God, doing things scared. So when I first started this business, I had no idea what I was doing. And I'll go back to Comerica. A lot of times that I'm dealing with this with my son is, am I too old or has my time passed? I wrote the process of what I wanted to do 10 years before I actually did it. So I just kind of sat down and was like, God, what if I could impact the world this way, this way, this way, this way? But it started out for my son. 10 years later, the world is in chaos. And I'm like, it's time for me to launch this as a business. And so I did it. So number one, there's no time, there's no expiration date on a hope and purpose in your dreams. If it takes you 10 years to put it together, let it take you 10 years to put it together. Now, I launched my entrepreneur careers on the back of Comerica, which was play on culture and desire for Black people, African Americans in the world. And it did really good. And I truly believe that that's where my heart was, that's where I was supposed to be at in business. But because that business did so good, so quick, so fast, people were like, how did you do it? How did you get your social media following like that? How did you do your marketing? How did you do your branding? And I pivoted from servicing the community as a whole to entrepreneurs. So now I'm a business development strategist for our community. So point number 2, don't be afraid to pivot. If your vision pivots, if your desire and your dream pivots, go with it. Don't hold on to what you think is what you're supposed to do so tight that you can't let God use you and take you where you need to go. Okay. So now I'm a business development strategist. I get to work in my community in a place where I believe is going to change our economics, right? So I personally, this is my belief, I believe that our economic empowerment is going to come through entrepreneurship, owning our own stuff. So I get to impact that by making sure that our businesses operate at a level that says it's okay to do that. Like, I want you to be happy and proud and feel good about the money that you spend with Black-owned businesses. And so, and so I get to do that. So point number 3, as an entrepreneur, try to find something where these are my 3 Ps, where you can profit, that has purpose, and what is it? Profit, purpose. I can't think of my other P right now because I'm on the spot. People go into business for 3 reasons. They want to profit, there's purpose, and there is your passion. Thank you, Jesus. 3 Ps. So the third thing is try to be in business in those 3 areas. Usually, if you're lucky, you're for sure in it for 1. If you're lucky, you get 2. If you really get your alignment, you have 3. You can work on your passion, there's purpose for it, and you can profit. I've worked with a lot of people that come to me sometimes and they have found their passion, but they don't know how to make money from it. Or they have a purpose, but they're not passionate about it, but they make money from it. If you can do all 3, you are in perfect alignment. And that's what I love about what I do. I know that there is a purpose for what I do. I get up every day and I feel good about the work that I do. It's not a job. I get to truly impact not just my life, but the community, the world as a whole. I'm passionate about it. I love working with my community. I love working with people that look like me. I love changing legacies and building businesses. And it's profitable because I charge for my services. So those would be the things that I would tell somebody to just be, make sure that the business that you go into, there's passion, there's purpose, it's profitable. Don't get so stuck on what you're doing that you can't pivot if the wind blows a different way. And it doesn't matter how long it takes you to do it, start it and finish it. I'm gonna leave on this. As Margot said, I am in a dissertation. And one of the things that my study is on Black women entrepreneurs in the United States. And one of the things I'm looking at is the statistics that say Black women are starting businesses faster than any other segment or population. And we are by 605%, okay? What they don't say is we are starting businesses faster than any other segment of the population, but we're not getting out of the startup phase. So starting is great. Kudos to all of us out there. But that's all we're doing is starting. We don't make as much money as anybody else. We're not hiring people, and our businesses don't stay open as long. So starting is great. And I don't want to take anything away from all of us beautiful Black women that are starting, but we have to get out that startup phase so that we can actually do something with the businesses that we start. And so that's why I love what I do and why I wake up every day and do this. I know that was a long answer, but I had to get it all out.
But here's the thing. We're laying the foundation, and this is why I wanted people to hear what I know. And they're not going to know everything, of course, right? We have years going into this, but I wanted you to lay a foundation from your background of some of those key lessons, because those lessons laid the foundation for who you are today, but how you navigate business effectively. Right. And so I wanted to say that. So if you are just to wrap up some key points that you said, where I'm talking to them, not you. Okay. Where she started is not where she is today. So where she started is not where she is today. And I want to give that to you because where you are now is not where you're going to be a year from now. Prayerfully, is not going to be where you're not going to be in the same position 3-5 years from now if you do the work required of you. So I want to make sure we give that key point. And then on the other end of that, She built on the solid foundation she laid and grew from there. And so again, you have to first lay this solid foundation. Take a house, take any infrastructure. If you don't build on a solid foundation, it's going to cave in and collapse. We don't want that for you and for your business. And so the conversation that we're having today, though we're talking about marketing, and I know sometimes this conversation gets a little muddy because, well, what is the difference between marketing and advertising and this and that? And what is, don't worry about the minutia right now. Listen, take note. Again, we mentioned earlier, ask the questions that you have, post in the comment sections, and we will try to get to you if we aren't addressing those conversations in our our dialogue that we're having. Okay, so that was a really great starting point, LaNee. And again, you shared some really, really key pieces there. The next question I have is, how did Upscale New York come to life? This isn't the first round for you. So what was, we'll start there because it's kind of a two-piece question. How did Upscale come to life?
I'm glad you asked this question. Okay, so my first business was Comerica. It was a play on culture and desire. I wanted to present positive imagery, motivation, empowerment to our community. And I named it Culture Desire because the desires that we have today in 2021, those desires are the same as our ancestors 400 years ago, right? We want to be respected. We want to be well received. We want to raise our family. We want education. Like, we want to live, right? And so that's what my foundation is built on, okay? I did that and it did well, but it turned into, like I said, a business of helping other entrepreneurs in business. And so I started branding myself as the mogul in training. And so I started my second business, which is called Mogulvation. That business allowed me to have a school because I was answering the same questions over and over and over again. How do you start a business? How do you do emails? How do you do social media? How do you do this? And I'm like, this is a lot. And so, business tip, if somebody's asking you a question more than once, do a course on it. So I started the Mogul Institute so that I could actually teach more people, reach more people quicker and faster. And that was cool for a minute, but then people were like, I want to talk to you. So I was like, okay, well, let me start some coaching. So then I started doing coaching. Well, what happened was my spirit, this is my pivot, my spirit was like, well, you're not really doing what you were supposed to, what you said you were going to do. With Mogulvation, I could see the impact I was making. I could see the people that were writing books. I could see the businesses that were being turned around. I could see the money that people were making. And with Comerica, I was making people feel good, but I couldn't track how they felt. Like, was it impactful? Did you change something? Did you go to school? Like, how was it really helping you? And so I ended up with these two businesses, one that was my passion and the other one that I could profit from, but both of them had purpose. And so I said, you know what? I don't feel like I'm giving either one of these the right amount of attention that I should be giving. And so I'm going to close them. I'm going to shut Comerica down. I'm going to shut the Mogul business down. And let me tell you that one of the other reasons why I shut the Mogul business down was because I realized, this is again a pivot, the business that I had created was for me. I created a business based on what I wanted other people to do. I wanted other people to reach for this mogul stature, and everybody does not want to be Oprah. Everybody doesn't want to reach Oprah status. Everybody wants to scale up. They want to go from an apartment to a house. They want to go from 100,000 to 250,000. They want to go from no children in college to having children in college. They want to go from a full-time job to a part-time business on the side. Like that, there's a scale to this thing. It's not 0 to 100. Somebody's scale is 0 to 50. Somebody's scale is 20 to 45. Everybody's scale is different. And I was like, okay, so what I really want to do between Comerica and the mogul business is I want to help my community scale up, whatever their scale is. It's not about me. What does my client need? What does my customer need? What does their scale look like? And that's when I came up with Upscale Noir. I wanted it to be urban upscale, but somebody already took it. Do your research on your names before you start naming your businesses out there. Somebody already had it. So I was like, okay, Noir is popping. And really, I didn't want it to be urban. I wanted to keep it, I wanted to make it how I envision our community, right? I didn't go with luxury because the opposite of luxury is poverty. And I don't want people to be trying to live with the Joneses. That's not the point of what I do. So I was like, okay, what's a nice word that represents what I want to do? And it was upscale. I want my community to scale up, and whatever that looks like for them. So Upscale Noir is just upscale Black. Like, I wake up every day to upscale. I did it with Comerica from the mental perspective. I did it with Motivation from the business perspective. And with Upscale Noir, I get to do it. It's all encompassing. So I don't have to run two different paths. I can run one path through Upscale Noir, and I can help my community upscale their life, upscale their business, upscale their relationships, upscale their education, whatever it is. As long as I'm helping you go from here to here in whatever those ticks are, then I'm still doing what I was created to do and what I was put on this earth to do.
Okay, first of all, you're taking us to church. That's the first thing. So first things first, can I get an amen? But you said some things and I'm like, oh my goodness, how do I want to word this to make sure that this point wasn't missed? So the first thing that I hear, and I talk about this all the time too, is to be willing to make a decision and follow through. That's the first piece. So that's point A. And then point B, give yourself permission to change your mind. Right? So look, you know how I like to do this, right? So let me take what you just said and say it this way too, right? So I'm going to repeat this because this is key. And I think I just got chills saying this because this is something that I didn't practice for years. I made a decision, or I said I was going to do something. And in the name of integrity, I just had to stick with that. Even though I was being disobedient, even though I was delaying what God had for me, I had to follow through because I told Summer I was going to show up. I had to follow through and work 9 hours at LaNee's event, even though I'm a volunteer, right? Like, I got to stay from the beginning to end. But number one, why did I commit to that? Number two, now that I realized I shouldn't have committed to that, well, she's my friend, so I don't want to, but you didn't even necessarily ask me to stay all day at your event. I volunteered that, right? So when we find ourselves in these situations, we need to realize, number one, from a fundamental perspective, make a decision and follow it through. However, if you find yourself at any point along that journey, took a wrong turn, know that you are free to change your mind. That's part of what I got from what you just shared. You shared a really powerful story, LaNee, and I thank you for taking us through that process. The other piece to this, and when you were saying you did your research, you didn't, I want this name and I'm gonna start using it. No. But even deeper than doing your research there, you also did something that I feel like is missing from the business community. It's like, I want to get the money and I'm at step 1 and I'm looking at somebody else's step 10 and I'm trying to get to step 10 today. It's not how it works, right? You got to put in the work, right? We already talked about that earlier. Do the work required of you. Be committed to doing the work required of you. But one of the things that I heard is that it's important to create a mission that aligns with the vision you have. Can you walk that out a little bit more though? Because I feel like that plays a role into marketing.
It does. It really
significant role.
It does, because you end up understanding your mission, understanding your vision, understanding will better align you with your target market or your target audience. And if you know that, then your marketing, meaning the verbiage, how you talk, what you communicate, the content you create, the products you create, the services you offer will be more in alignment with the needs of that target audience. So if you create, I'll make something up, if you create a pantyhose, I'm just going to use this because that's what came to my mind. If you decide that I want to create pantyhose because I want to bring women back to being classy, cool. Who are you talking to? Which women are not classy? Like, because you need to know, are you talking to women under 20 because they don't wear pantyhose? Are you trying to make them classy? Are you talking about women over 40 because where are they going? What do they need these pantyhose for? So when you have your mission is to make women classy and you decide to start with pantyhose, you may want to start someplace else. Nothing wrong with wanting to help women be classy, but what is really going to do that, right? So you just want to know, well, what your product is, what your service is, what your mission is, who your audience is. because then you want to know how you want to sell it. Now, here's the thing. You definitely could sell pantyhose today. I wouldn't position it as to make women classy. I might say something like, let's take it back to the old school. Let's bring pantyhose back. And then show a woman walking into a business meeting with her really pretty stockings on with the little lines in the back and a player suit. That's how you market what you want. You know what I'm saying? So it's knowing your product, your service. It's knowing what your mission is, who it's for, and then creating a business and a brand around that, and so that you can market it effectively.
Do you see how she did that so graciously, y'all? So that, but again, you did take it there, right? We get these ideas in our minds, and a lot of people where they're starting, they don't necessarily have a business coach, they don't have a strategy, they're not looking at their situation from an objective standpoint, and so they're like, ooh, idea, ooh, go. Wait. You got to validate what it is that you're trying to put out to the world to make sure that there's even a market for it. And just because other people are doing it, you know, I've been there too. Like, you know what, they're doing this, but I can do it better. Rah, I'm going to go do it too. And then you crash and burn and you're like, but, right. And so there's this process that you definitely want to get started, but again, it goes back to the same thing of doing the work that's required of you. I want to tell this quick story as we now dive deeper into the conversations around marketing, but I feel like this story is going to be really important for a lot of the people who are listening today. When I started my business, I actually did invest into business coaching and training, both free and paid. And I realized that some of the things that were really hard for me in the beginning were validating my offer, really understanding what marketing meant, the difference between the market research and then getting it out to the market, right? I didn't really understand that for a while. And then also forecasting. I'm like, well, I've never run a business. Why do I need to do this right now? And some of the coaches that I had, they were like, oh, you can come back to that later when you start making profit. Well, your girl was a hustler. So I was like, okay, so I went straight into generating revenue. But because I didn't have that foundation, I was like, the money was coming in, but it was also going out probably faster than it was coming in. I didn't have I wasn't forecasting. I didn't know how to run and manage and grow a business. And so a lot of what LaNée is talking about is super important, because before you just get out there, you want to make sure there's certain things that you have clarity around, so that when you go to these conversations and you're talking to your ideal client, you're speaking to one person about one problem. Other problems are going to be resolved from working with you, but what is the one problem that your intended audience is experiencing? And then really flesh that out. Anytime you go live, anytime you create content, you're speaking to that one person, even though 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people are going to be able to resonate with that same message, but you're not trying to speak to 50, but I can talk to the moms and the aunties and the this and that and the entrepreneurs and one person, one problem. Tighten up that message. And when you go out and you're getting your content created and you are positioning yourself in front of the people that you know you're supposed to serve, you're going to be able to show up with a different piece about you, because you're focused on who you're trying to serve. So I definitely wanted to add that in there.
Can I add a little bit to what you just said, Margot? You hit on so many good things, and it's literally how most people operate, how most people start their business. Right. You either have, like I said, a purpose, a passion, or profit. You think you're going to do it well, or somebody tells you make the best chicken, or you do the best, you lay the best edges, or God, you really should be coaching business because you do so good. And you're like, okay, I'm going to do it. So you jump out there and you start, what she said, running a business. Now, one of the things I preach is the difference between run and operate. And a lot of times we run a business, and running, I don't know the last time y'all been out there on the pavement, but running, there's a lot of work. And if you go 40, put a lot of stress on your bones and your joints and stuff. Running is not cool. And when you're running after business, you're running for sales, you're running for marketing, you're running. Operating is where you sit back and you create a system and you have a plan and the business operates on its own. You are in Tahiti, sipping on mimosas, and money is still coming in. That's right. We have to get out of a mindset of running a business and start thinking about how can we make this business operate, right? So that brings me back to what you were talking about, forecasting and setting that foundation. The difference between, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but the difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner is the mindset. The difference between an entrepreneur and a CEO is the mindset, right? And we want to get to a place where we are operating our businesses. That means, and I'm kind of shameless plug, but I'm kind of not going to shameless plug. I'm in the process of creating this 4-month accelerator, and we focus on 6 things, only 6 things: sales, marketing, operations, branding, legal, and financial. That's it. Because most businesses only focus on 1 or 2 of those: branding and marketing, maybe operations, probably not sales, definitely not forecasting their finances. Is my business legally set up? We don't focus on the 6, in my personal opinion, these 6 pillars of business. And so we're always in business a little bit, what's the right word? I think handicap. I don't want to say the wrong word, but we're a little bit we're not operating at our full capacity in the way that we can. And so taking the time to really figure out how your business operates. How does your business make money? Who is it making money with? Is that the legal way? Do you have protection for the content that you're creating, for the product that you're creating? How are you going to make money? In 2 years, will that money still be coming in? In 5 years, what are you going to be bringing into the market? How are you going to make sure that you're still making money? How is your money going to elevate? What's your value ladder look like? Like, there's just all these different elements of business that we don't always think about or have when we're first going into business. And it's why our businesses struggle a lot in those first 1 to 5 years, because a lot of that business acumen doesn't come until about 5 years. But at that point, you're tired. Your money ain't funny. You're not feeling it anymore. You just go, and a lot of times people quit. That's why people quit in that 3 to 5 year range. It's the business acumen that they're missing. It's not that their business idea isn't good. It's not that people don't need or want what they have. They don't know how to market it. They don't know how to brand it. They don't know who they're talking to. They don't know how to present it. They're not pitching to the right people. They're not getting sponsorships. They're not leveraging their relationship. There's all of these things that go into having a business and operating a business that far exceed running a business.
So how I'll summarize this point is that you need a LaNee Javet in your life. That's my key takeaway from that one. All right, moving on. So fundamentally, again, a lot of the times just things they should be self-explanatory, but they're not. And so I like being thorough when it's necessary. So can you please define for us what marketing is? And can you provide us a few examples of how marketing is correlated to your offer, service, and or product?
Okay.
So twofold.
Marketing correlated to. Okay.
Yep. So I can say it again.
Thank you. So I was waiting for you to ask this question because I love to answer. I love to tell people this because as a coach, I'm sure you hear this all the time. I'm out here, I'm branding my businesses. I'm out here, I'm marketing my businesses. Well, what are you doing? Boo, what you doing? Tell me. So let me tell you the difference between branding, marketing, and advertising. These are 3 different things. They are brothers and sisters. They could be triplets for all I care. They are that close. You can look at them and they almost look like they are the same person, but they are different and they do different things. But you need all 3 of them. So first, you have to have a brand. Your brand serves 2 purposes. It is visual and it is emotional. Okay, so the visual part of your brand is going to be your logo. It's going to be your colors. It's going to be your patterns. It's going to be what people see and they recognize you. Okay, so when you see the green lady, you know it's Target. I'm sorry, you know it's Starbucks. When you see the red bullseye, you know it's Target. When you see the golden arches, you know it's McDonald's. That's sight. Okay. The emotional part of your brand is how people feel about doing business with you. So when you sit down and think about your brand, you want to think, how do I want people to feel about me? This goes into the colors that you pick as well. But you want to think about, how do I want people to feel? I want people to feel like my brand is classy. So that's going to determine what your brand looks like. I want people to feel like my brand is hip. That's going to determine what your logo looks like. That's going to determine what the content you post looks like. I want people to feel like my brand is raggedy. That's Walmart. I'm just kidding. Let me stop. I'm just kidding. Let me not say that. Let me give a better example, because I don't know if Walmart want to sponsor me one day. Let me say it a different way. Target and Walmart. When you decide where you want to go to pick something up, you go to one or the other based on how you feel. We see this, not me. I'm telling you what social media says, Walmart. This what social media says, not me. But you see the TikToks where people put their little clothes on, they got their little bonnet on, and they go into Walmart. And then the next video, they got their sunglasses on, their hair is done, they got the heels on, and then they go to Target. It's emotion. It's not to say that one of these businesses is better or the other. I'm not saying that. I'm talking about the emotion that you have relative to this brand. I never want to discount, we're about corporate sponsors around here. So Walmart, good looking out. Thank you for the low cost, because it's up the street from my house and I am in there. Not disrespecting the brand, just talking about how people feel about branding. Okay, that's all we're saying. Now, that's the brand piece. So what people look at and what they feel, that's your brand. And you have to have that in order to market. Marketing is the communication of the business that you have. You market it for awareness. You want people to be aware of your brand. You want people to be aware of your business. You want people to be aware of the products and services that you offer. And so you have to present them to them in some type of a way or fashion. We use social media to present what we do. We use email to present what we do. We get on and we go live to present what we do. Even if I'm doing a live on Facebook, I'm still marketing, because I'm showing you who I am, what I do, what I know. Now, I'm not advertising to you in this moment because I'm not asking you to buy anything. And that's what advertising is. I'm running an ad to say, hey, I have a 3-month program coming out and I want you to buy it. That's an ad. I'm looking to make a return on my investment. I'm looking to make money. So I'm going to advertise. Now, this is where it can be slippery slope. Sometimes people will run an ad in order to market. What does that mean, LaNee? That means I want to get some more followers. I want people to see my lead magnet. I want people to know who I am. Well, I have to put a little bit of money behind that. And so I'm going to run an ad where I'm not, quote, selling anything, but I am looking to increase my followers. I am looking to get people to join my email list. So I'm offering them a freebie. I do have an event coming up. So marketing and advertising, like I know I call them triplets. We're gonna call them kissing cousins right now. They are like up on each other. They're very difficult to pull apart and see the difference. But if you think about marketing is telling people who I am and what I do, advertising is getting them to buy what I do. Okay, so that's kind of the difference. You have to have a brand in order for people to know, like, and trust you, see who you are, verbally see you, and feel what it's like to do business with you. You have to market that brand so that people will know you, like you, trust you, know what you do, know what you offer, know how to get in touch with you in order to get what you offer. And you have to advertise so that you can collect money so that people will pay you for it. Hopefully I didn't confuse you.
No, that's super solid. And that's really how I've looked at it as well. Because again, when it comes to marketing, that's why I said, stay with us. I promise you, stay with us, because it gets so confusing. Though, again, Google will just say, this is what marketing is, but what does it really mean? You have the definition, but what does it mean? And so you really broke it down. And those are the 3 pieces that you'll see people, kind of what you were talking about of the 3 Ps, right? You have the passion, purpose, profit. Some people have 1, some people have 2, but not the 3rd. Some people have 1 and not the others that are most important. Some people are trying to advertise without a brand, right? Like, we see that happening. And again, I'm super happy to put myself on the chopping block. I was killing it. I had pink and purple, and I had pink and purple heels. I had pink and purple blazers. I had pink and purple jumpsuits. And anywhere I went, your girl who had the hot pink and a bright purple, royal purple outfit, it was a Margot. And that's what it was. So my brand, like, people knew the brands, and they also knew that I was coming in real strong in the personal development space. And that it's a really interesting thing, because on the outside, it was as if I had it together. However, the marketing piece, right? Who I am and what I do, I lost myself in my business for years. I didn't know who Margot was outside of DiscoverHer. I didn't. And I didn't have hobbies. I was literally working at all times. I was coaching, undercharging. I was hosting workshops, undercharging. I was working with other people, teaching them my intellectual property, not charging. And so I wasn't really marketing effectively. And because I knew a lot of things, I was skilled in a lot of areas, people would come to me, oh, Margot, I need help with my website. Okay, I can help you there. Hey, I need coaching for XYZ. Okay, great, cool, I can help you here. And so when people would come to me like, well, what do you do? What do you need? I wasn't like, I didn't know how to articulate the one thing I mentioned earlier, one person, one problem. I couldn't articulate that to anybody. Today, I teach leaders how to prioritize their faith in their careers, their businesses, and their lives. Let's pause, because again, depending on who I'm talking to, I would tailor that conversation a little bit differently. I didn't do that before. I was just like, okay, what room am I in? Okay, cool. I need the 501c3 hat on. Okay, I'm in this room. Okay, great. I need the entrepreneur hat on, or, you know, and I was a chameleon. I was adapting to the different spaces. And here's what happened. When I was in the nonprofit room, when those people would talk about me, they weren't articulating what I can do for other people because they only knew me in that one arena. And I was like, oh man, and I paid a costly price for that. I now lead with what I do, teaching the leaders how to prioritize their faith. However, I also include, but I specialize in, but wait, there's more. And I list those things that I specialize: personal and organizational leadership, event management, which is a whole beast in itself. I talk about strategic partnerships, Summer, I see you. And I break this list down. Why? Because though people know me as a leadership development consultant, that could mean anything. And so again, you need to know what industry are you operating in, leadership development. So what's your role, what's your title, what have you? And it comes to marketing. And then what do you do? I'm teaching people how to do XYZ so that they can. What's the result? And then what differentiates you? What sets you apart? I know the people who navigate in my industry in leadership development, they're not at the intersection of faith and business. That's a Margot Blair. I can teach what I'm teaching in the business world, but I'm taking this to the faith streets as well. And that's what sets me apart in both lanes, because what I'm teaching and talking about is doing business God's way. And so I wanted to set that up because I just nailed it. No, I'm just kidding.
No, you definitely nailed it. You literally just talked about marketing research, like literally research your market. Yes. The reason why people feel like they're doing the same thing that somebody else is doing is because you did not research your market. What separates you? How can you stand out? There's a reason there's a Starbucks, a BlackRock, a Coffee Bean, and boom, 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 all in the same corner, because they stand alone in the same market. Yep. But you don't know that if you don't research your market, if you're not sure about your industry. And a lot of times people just go, I'm just going to start what's it called? A hair, what is this stuff called? A wig business, a weave business, whatever the case might be. I'm just going to start one. And there's a gazillion of them. And I'm not saying don't start one, but what separates you? What makes you different? Do you get your hair from Asia? Is it a quick turnaround? Do you color it? Is it pre-washed? Like, what do you do to stand out in the market? Faith and business, that's a beautiful thing, because people are talking about business all day long. And there are some coaches out there that would tell you, don't integrate your personal life with your business. Don't integrate faith with business. And there's a lot of coaches that do not. There's a very small segment of them that do. And I will tell you this, I was on the phone with the lady the other day. She was trying to decide to take one of my courses. And I jumped on the phone with her. I had a minute or whatever. And she was like, the reason why I chose you was because your faith, because I was on your social media and I could see your faith. And so your faith is what won me. Hallelujah. Like, don't be afraid to wear Jesus on your chest where you go. But back to Margot's point, do your research. How are you going to stand out? The thing that may seem simple or small, and I'm not calling religion simple or small, or spirituality simple or small. In the scale of what the world says is okay to present in business, that can be the thing that makes someone choose you over somebody else. Like, stand on who you are, what you know, what you believe. Do your market research and know what separates you, because that will be the thing that will have somebody call you up over somebody else.
And I've seen it one too many times. The key, I'll give a key from part of what I shared, and because it talks about what we talked about is differentiating yourself in your industry. I teach my clients this all the time, is be willing to collaborate with other people in your own industry. We're not going to walk that out because we just told you. So rewatch this a little bit later if you missed it. But be willing to collaborate with people in your own industry. The only thing I'll share here is because you bring something else to the table that they don't. They bring something else to the table that you don't, and there is money and impact to be made with collaboration. All right, moving on. Next, I want us to talk about how can a marketing strategy or a marketing campaign, slight difference, if you want to touch on that, you can. How can a marketing strategy or a marketing campaign help us reach our business goals?
All right, this is perfect because this ties back into how does marketing correlate to sales? Okay, so strategy versus campaign. You have to have a strategy before you have a campaign. Again, two different things that a lot of times we think are the same thing. Oh, this is my strategy. I'm about to launch. No. Oh, I have a campaign. Okay, but what's your strategy? Two different things. Your strategy is what you do before anything. There's a business strategy, a development strategy, a marketing strategy. It's the thought process. It's the brainstorming. It's the what do I want to accomplish and how am I going to do it? That's what your strategy is. Okay. The campaign is what you actually launch. Okay. So your marketing strategy says, I am a new business. I would like to make $150,000 in my first year. I know who my target audience is. I know where they are. What is my strategy to reach them? Okay, that's the strategy. Now, your strategy may be, if we stay with the pantyhose analogy, what women are wearing pantyhose? Where are they wearing pantyhose to? Where are they located on social media? What is the conversation that I need to have with these women? How do I explain to them that pantyhose are cool and hip? What is the features and benefit of these pantyhose? So that's your strategy, right? You're trying to figure all of these things out. And then you say, okay, I know who they are, where they are, how I'm going to present, etc. So now I have to post X amount of times a day. I have to create X type of content. I have to collaborate with X person. I want to sponsor this many ads or create this many videos. That's all strategy. Okay. Now we have to roll the campaign out. Once we actually figure out what we want to do, now we have to create a campaign. So a campaign might be bare legs are yesterday. I'm making this up. Bare legs are yesterday. Today's woman wants to be sleek and blah, 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 whatever. I'm making something up. And now we're going to create a campaign about that. How do we visually show what we're saying so that we can market it, right? How do we connect? And then how much money are we going to put behind this? And where are we going to post this? And then we launch the campaign. So you have to have a strategy before you can actually launch the campaign. And to bring it back around to how does that correlate? A lot of times people go out and they start posting and posting and posting and posting without a strategy, without a campaign. And it's like throwing spaghetti on the wall. You don't know who you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to land your target. You're just not sure. When you have a real marketing strategy and a real marketing campaign, and you can put, you can do a little drip campaign, put $5 a day, $10 a day, $20 a day. And you know who your audience is, and you have a strategy for how you're going to reach them, and you launch a campaign, your $5 can see an ROI of $25, of $100, of $500. So your marketing correlates with your dollars based on, one, have a marketing budget. have a marketing budget. Like decide that you're going to put some money behind your business. I am all for DIY. If you know me, you know I'm always giving tips and tools on how to do these things yourself. But there are some things where I say, put your money where your mouth is, and marketing is one of those things. If you're not making the money that you want to make in your business, invest a little bit. And in the way that this marketing stuff is set up today, it don't have to be a whole lot of money. If you run an ad and you say you want to do, $5 a day just to get some people to see it, start marketing your business so that people see your product, goods, and services. Throw a little $5 ad behind it, and that correlates to your ROI. If you have a product that sells for, let's say, $149, and you throw a $5 a day ad out there to market that product, and somebody buys it, it costs you $5 to get a $149 sale. You do the math. And even if it's at $5 a day, you know how many $5 days you have at $149 to make that return on your investment? But we don't think about it like that. We think about, oh, I got to hold on to this money. I don't know when my next sale is going to come in. If one sells $149, invest $149 a month in ads to market your business, your product, or service, and see if you can get that back one fold. If you can, we got another problem. We got something else we got to talk about. That's a whole nother issue in the business. But if you have at least the cost of one of your products to invest in your business, in advertising to market your business, if you have at least that much, you should be able to sell one product, two products, three products, four products, and see that ROI. That's how marketing and or advertising relates or correlates to your business as far as sales goes.
This is so good. So she didn't see my notes. I promise you she didn't see my notes. But the next question is there a standard marketing budget that entrepreneurs should have at different stages of their business? I promise you she didn't see the questions beforehand. But again, you hit it, and it's super key. And so I really want us to map this out for a lot of the people in the room. When you mentioned the marketing budget, it's like, okay, but where do I start? You spoke about like a $5 day ad campaign, but there's much more, as we just talked about, the brand marketing, advertising, right? Is there a standard marketing budget, or what is the standard marketing budget that an entrepreneur should have at the different stages of their business?
That is a loaded question because I think it depends on who you ask, right? Some people would probably give a percentage. You should at least be putting 10 to 15% of your, of your revenue back into your business. You should, so it depends on who you ask. I'll tell you what I think. I think your marketing budget should match your ability to spend. Okay. So what I mean by that is, let's say, everybody's finances are so different. Some people are just barely making it in their business, and you're feeling like, if I give up this $100 this month, I'm not going to be able to pay for X, Y, and Z. I would tell you to have faith, like pray over that seed and make that investment and see what it returns for you. Maybe you have to not drink Starbucks this month, but take that seed, like look at your marketing budget as your seed. And depending on what you want your seed to return, or depending on how you want to water that seed, will determine what will come back to you. And the reason why I say it that way is because people who have the money to invest, they invest. They're not tripping. Like if somebody already has an extra 1,000 laying around, they are not tripping on investing. People who make money are making money. The people who I see that struggle with this marketing, advertising concept are the people who need it the most and don't place enough value on what marketing your business can do for you, and what advertising your business can do for you, above and beyond posting on social media, above and beyond, look at my business, right? I hate to be cliche, scare money don't make money. It's the legit truth. So your budget is whatever you can deal with giving up. That should be your budget. If you bring in $1,000 a month and it only costs $300 to run your business, invest $700. If you bring in $1,000 a month, but you're spending almost $800 to run the business, and by that, it could be a coach, or all the software that it takes to run your business, or if you're licensing something and then you don't have any money to invest to actually invest in your business, then take that $200, pray on it. Lord, please let this be returned to me in abundance. Pray over that and invest that $200 and see what happens. Marketing is the backbone of our businesses. And it's okay to use social media to market your business, but if you want to strengthen it and go from slouching to standing straight up, throw a 20 behind it, throw 50 behind it, throw 150 behind it, throw 200 behind it, throw the next month's sales behind it. There's no magic dollar amount, but use what you have and then put a little 10 on top of that. I know that wasn't a direct answer, just because I don't feel like there is a
there isn't a direct answer. And so, and so you spoke to several things that were super key, and you give us a rough estimate, and I've seen 10 to 15. I do 15 on my end, sometimes even 20, depending on if I have a launch coming up. Like right now we have my new book, not a shameless plug, my new book, Profitable Founder, is coming out on August 19th. And so there's a lot of extra stuff that's like, what do we got? Throw it in there, and it's we're seeing the results of investing, right? The dollar, we give $1, make $2, and we got that one, and now we can do 3, right? Like we're seeing that thing happen.
The snowball effect. That's a great, even that what you just said, that is we use it with paying our bills, use it with your marketing. The snowball effect. Invest the cost of one product. If you make that back, invest the cost of 2 products. You make that back, invest. Like there's no rhyme or reason. Don't go broke, investing in it, but the investment that you make into your business, into your marketing, into your brand, into your advertising, that you see back in sales, you see back in numbers, you see back in notoriety, you see back in podcast interview. And some of the thing is we look at ROI as dollars, and sometimes it's not dollars. Sometimes you invested in somebody, saw you, they led to an interview, and that interview got you in front of the right crowd, which then leads to sales. So you have to really understand where the value lies in your business. What type of what do you consider ROI? What do you consider a return on your investment? Is it only dollars? Is it networking? Is it the right door opening for you? Is it the right person seeing your business? Is it the right partnership? Is it sitting on the right stage? Is it being invited to the right platform? There's so many different ways that a $20 investment into your business, a $100 investment into your business, into an ad, into marketing, can return itself to you in your business.
100%. And I feel like this is a really great point to bring Summer back into the conversation. I have 2 questions for you, Summer, because I love having these conversations with you, because you're able to see from 2 different perspectives. You have the corporate perspective, but then you're also a serial entrepreneur yourself. You have businesses yourself. And so one question that I have for you is, as a sponsor or as a corporation who sponsors, how important is it to see a business or a business owner invest into themselves or into their marketing?
That's actually a really, really good question. On all levels of corporate lending and on sponsorship, we're not going to put any skin in the game unless you have skin in the game. So if you want to put it like that, that's how it is. We're not going to invest in somebody who doesn't invest in themselves. That's basic information from a bank, from a corporation to a business owner. And this is information that not necessarily is learned until you get to that no. You're like, oh, why not? Oh, because you're not at the level. We'll glamorize it, but that's really the real deal. Like, we need you to have skin in the game in order for us to invest into you. And a lot of people, and going back to LaNée's point, I will make a statement that there's lending out there. If you need marketing dollars, no matter what it is, if you have a budget, just like you budget your personal goals, your personal life, your personal bills, hopefully you budget your household, you budget your business. You make a section in that budget for marketing. If you don't have that section, implement one, put it in. Marketing is important. And when you have lenders, there's micro lenders, there's, and I'll give off a few, DreamSpring, Chicanos por la Casa, which is also known as Prestamos. These are here in Arizona. You also have Raza Development. You can also Google business lender, like small business lenders, and they base it off of the income that you have coming in. So even if you get what a micro might be of about $1,500, which is fine. That's enough for you to start your marketing budget. When you take that 1,500, you turn that 1,500 into 3,000. You take that same 1,500 and put it back into marketing. Keep moving it, keep directing it, and that 1,500 will continue to be your marketing budget while you continuously get 1-to-1, then 2-to-1, then 3-to-1. And then this way, you'll be able to show an impact of what that lender did for you. And then 6 months later, you refinance it for a larger dollar amount for your larger marketing amount. That's the game that you play when you get business money. That is what it is. But for my business, I do the same thing. We have a marketing budget. We have some of our business, most of our business is product based. So we have to know, like, what are the sales? What is this? Are we willing to put more money towards these particular people? Because these are people who buy our products. You need to know all of this information. And guess what? The bank asks you too if you go in for lending. We want to know, so what do you do? And if you can articulate what you do, then we say no. I mean, we need you to have as much passion. We need there to be a profit. And then just the 3 P's, y'all said it before, purpose. There has to be a purpose, meaning there has to be a strategic plan on where you're going to be 3 years from now. Because if we're going to invest into you now, we know we're not going to get our money back from you until year 10. But if you don't know where you're going to be come year 10, then we're not going to invest. So you have to have these plans in place so that you can make that money. And a lot of my businesses, personally, what I do, I go to what's going to make me the money first, the fastest. I don't care if it's not as much money, but it's going to make me enough money to continue my purpose and my passion on my other business. And so that's okay if you're doing that right now, because that's how a lot of small businesses start. Consider yourself a small business if you make less than $1 million on each individual business. That is a small business. Once you're beyond that, then you're scaled and you can keep going. But just like LaNee was saying, in that time frame of having what your scale is, take those steps. Like step 1 through 10 will get you to $1 million. Then after that, go to the step 2. So you want to scale beyond that 100,000. You want to scale beyond that 500,000, but get to that point. Just like Margot said, don't start off, oh, I'm at 0, I'm going to be at $1 million next year. Okay, what is your plan? Like, you please indulge us. But that's a corporate view on that question. Thank you, Margot.
Again, this is why I love these conversations, because we're hitting so many points. And I've started transcribing these conversations because we're going hard for 20 minutes. And I have some heavy hitters in my network. So I these conversations are providing so much value to so many people at different stages of their business. Yeah. If some of what we're talking about isn't applicable to you right now, put it in your pocket. Like, please put it in your pocket, and know that if you don't have one at this point, get a journal and just title it Bootcamp, like Comerica Bootcamp, DiscoverHer Comerica Bootcamp. And anytime, like, bring that out along your journey, because these, by the end of this year, if for those of you who've been connected to us through these boot camps, by the end of this year, we will have 24 segments teaching you business principles, teaching you business strategies. And we've been going for 90 minutes every segment. Like, y'all just do the math with that, right? Like, that's hours and hours of just knowledge and training. But I'm going to tell you, like, full disclosure, that's over $200,000 investing into, like, each of us individually. Like, let me be very clear. When I mentioned earlier, I think I said this at the beginning of, you can get some complimentary resources, but then you also can pay your coach premium prices. Every single person that I've brought on one of the segments charges premium pricing for our services. Like, let's be very clear about that. And so I say that because there's levels to what we're talking about and what we're doing. When you get there, whatever that means to you, when you get there, you still should give back. Personal opinion. Here's the thing. The way I look at this, it comes from what I didn't have starting out. I was willing to invest. I had the budget to invest into coaching early on. I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't know business coaching was a thing. And people looked at me as if I were young. People told me my business was cute. That was offensive. And I was a little firecracker back then. I now know how to manage that. But like, you told me my business was cute. I know you're watching now. No, I'm kidding. But it was really hard to get people to really take what I was doing seriously. So if that's you, stick with it. Do what God is telling you to do. But also, be willing to ask the questions. Be willing to keep asking people, because here's what happens. The people who are really doing this, like really, really doing this, it's not play, it's not for show. There's no vanity behind what we're doing. We are willing to extend a hand up because we know that you're not asking for a hand out. Okay, I'm going to say that again for the people in the back who missed that. Be willing to extend a hand up. Don't look at it as offering a hand out. If somebody doesn't have the finances to invest into you, or if you don't have the finances to invest into that coach you want to work with, what value do you bring? And say, hey, this is what I can do. Can I be an apprentice? I want to learn from you. If they say no, great, cool. Figure out how you can get the coins and pay, right? That's one side of it. The other side of it is for the coach, the business strategist. Invite them into what it is that you're doing, because it's important for you to remember where you first started. I'm going to say this again. That's my humble opinion. There's people who I know don't do that, and that's entirely fine. But I know I need someone to manage my social media. You want to learn something? Okay, come on in. Here's what you do. The posts are already done. Schedule those things for me, because I don't want to put 30 days of content times 3. Like, I just don't want to do that. So let me bring you in. You could do that. What do you want to learn today? Right? And so on both ends, I'm going to give a quote from Maya Angelou. It honestly should be scripture, but it's not. Maya Angelou, the late Maya Angelou, said, ask for what you need and be prepared to get it. It's not coming from a place of arrogance. I know that there's areas that I'm always going to need to learn and grow. And if there is somebody who I know has it, hey, LaNée, can we talk for a second? All right, cool. Or, hey, LaNée, do you have a product or service in this subject? Yes, I do. Send me the link. Thanks so much. I'm not afraid to invest into somebody who I consider a friend, because I value her area of expertise. Okay, I'll digress. So basically what I'm saying there, summarization, is invest into your friends who are killing it, but also be willing to ask for what it is that you need. And you will be surprised at who is willing to invest back into you.
Amen. Pass the collection plate.
That's it. That's it. Again, I'll say this point again before we go into the next question. There is impact and money to be made. Oh. Period. We're kind of on the tail end of this segment, and it's a little bit bittersweet because there's so much more that we can cover. But I do have another good question that stems from something you mentioned earlier about systems. And I know the last segment when we got together, you left with the coined phrase, there's a system for that. So I felt it was important. I felt that it was essential to bring this back in regard to marketing. So LaNée, what does it mean to have a repeatable marketing and sales system? What does it mean, or what does it look like? I think what does it look like may be a better question there.
They call that a funnel. A repeatable marketing or sales system is called a funnel. And if you want to get real fancy, it's an evergreen funnel, which means it's always operating. It's always in motion. It's always going. So if you're on social media and you look up, what's something I was searching for the other day? Anything, name something, doesn't matter. Camera, doesn't matter what it is, right? Camera. I was online, I was looking for a camera the other day, and all of a sudden, all these camera ads start coming up in my news feed because these companies have a repeatable marketing funnel. So when I said I was looking for a camera, their ad came up that said, hey, we have cameras. So of course I'm like, oh, hit the shop now button. I'm going to go look at their cameras. They are doing something else. They are somewhere else. They are minding their business. They could be asleep because it could have been 2:00 in the morning for all I know. They are doing something else, but they've set up their marketing campaign. I saw the ad. And then they had a funnel that guided me towards what I wanted to buy. Hey, are you looking for a camera? We got cameras. Oh, let me see your camera. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So their funnel is set up. That's how you have automation. You see these ads that come up for legal, get legal contracts for your website. Learn how to create a course. There's all these different advertisements that come up, and these are called funnels. People have set up their marketing to automatically entice you. Hey, look at me, shop now, buy now, next person. That's a funnel. So that's how you do it from an automated standpoint. A lot of times you'll see this with evergreen content. Now that is something I threw out at you. I don't know if everybody knows what evergreen means. Evergreen means it's applicable at any time. It's forever green. You will always use it. You will always need it. So someone is not talking about something that's happening right now. It's only good right now. How to get through Wednesday's drama. Well, you can only sell that on Wednesday. That's not evergreen. You look crazy selling how to get through Wednesday on Sunday. That's not evergreen, right? How to get through the chaos of life, no matter what day it is, you can sell that. That's evergreen. I can sell it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, twice on Tuesday. So you want to have something that's evergreen that you can consistently be selling, put it on tap or put it in a funnel so that it's selling all the time. This is definitely something that you can use as a drip campaign where you just put $5 on it a day so that it's always cycling, so that people are always seeing it. So that's how you do it. Now, how you set up the funnel is a different conversation, but just know you want to be thinking about a funnel when you start talking about automation.
I had a question for you, LaNee, and this is purely personal, but I'm sure it'll help everyone. But so when it comes to marketing, and when you have an event, let's say like Margot's event that she's setting up for her book, how far in advance, or what distance do we need to start that campaign? Is it a month before? Is it 6 months before? Like, when should that begin?
That is a good question. And like most business answers, there's not a direct one. So I'll tell you how I do it, and then we can go from there. So my team gets on me all the time. They're like, you don't give enough time. And I'm like, I operate the way that I talk. So I operate really quickly, and I feel like I'm gonna throw it out there and people are gonna love it. They're gonna buy it. And a lot of times that happens, but that's not always the case. Right. So if you have a huge audience, and by huge, let's say over 10,000. Okay. So let's say, and then I know that's not huge, but because 5,000 to some people, that's a lot, but I'm just going to say, between 5,000 or more, let's say 5,000 or more. Scratch that. If you have an engaged audience, we're not talking numbers. If you have an engaged audience, okay, then your time frame doesn't have to be as long, because your audience is engaged. As soon as you throw something out there, they jump on it. Okay, because numbers doesn't equal engagement. There's people who have 1 million people, but they can't figure out how to engage those 1 million people. So engagement is what we value, not numbers. So if your audience is engaged, the lead time doesn't have to be as wide, unless the product cost is a high-end product or a premium product. So if I have a product that's $500 or more, $1,000 or more, where it's not as easily accessible to drop $1,000, I'm going to give it more lead time, because I probably have a payment plan. So if I have a 2-month payment plan, then I got to make sure that they at least have 2 months before the event to make the payments. So there's a couple of different things that go into that. If it's a book launch, a month is good. It just depends. So if it's a pre-launch, meaning you're doing pre-sales, you can launch that baby 3 months out in advance, because it's a pre-launch, it's pre-sales. So you can do a 3-month sales into the launch date. If the book is already launched and the event is coming up in 30 days and it's the book signing, then you only got 30 days, then it's 30 days. So there's no rhyme or reason. It just depends. Yeah. And that's where strategy comes into play. because every launch is different. Every strategy is different. Even the marketing is different, because even though you have a business and you have a target market and you have a target audience, sometimes the product that you're launching isn't for everybody in your audience. So I'll do this really quickly. I have my audience. Her name is Kendra. So my upscale client avatar, which is my UCA, her name is Kendra. Okay. This is my marketing girl. Her name is Kendra. She's a woman. She's between 35 and 55. She's married or single. She's an entrepreneur or an executive transitioning to entrepreneur. Kendra is a multi-passionate entrepreneur that wants to perform at a high level. She's high performance is not industry specific, but she does need clarity on the end goal or result that she wants to achieve. Kendra is so high performing that she either has too many ideas and can't pick one to execute, or she's trying to execute them all at one time and nothing is getting accomplished. Even that, depending on which version of Kendra I'm talking to, there are 2 different marketing platforms. And I'll stop there, but just really knowing who you're talking to and really knowing what the end result is will help you to determine those types of things. I saw that you have to go, Summer, so I'm going to stop right there. Like,
No, you can keep going. I'll drop off, but this information I think is really important for all entrepreneurs, no matter what services they sell. Because to be honest, I had to pay to get this information. So and I'm just like, and we paid, and we're just like, okay, well, here's $500 for information we know nothing about. So the information was given to us. It was still kind of falling on deaf ears because we still didn't know. Like, we got this information without having an Instagram account. So we were just like, oh, so I should have had that first before. So these are mistakes that we made. And again, I'm corporate. We don't do social media. We don't need it. We are backed by larger brands. But when it's your own brand, you have to have this foundation that you were speaking of and have that following before starting all these social media ads. And that is just it's new to corporate people. It really, really is. So for coming from a corporate background and selling via social media, we honestly, most of us go straight to Google. Like, oh, why don't we just do Google ads? Why wouldn't we do that? So
it goes back to knowing your audience. Who are you marketing to? Because if your target market has $5,000 laying around and you have a $1,000 program, you can shorten that. If your target market does not have that kind of money laying around and they're going to have to, save it, then you got to make it longer. And so it really, it depends.
And, both of you bring up several really great points. Summer, I know you have to jump, but I wanted to say this to your question. So though I'm doing a book launch right now, like that's super, like that's public facing. There's a lot of other things going on behind the scenes that are coming through the rest of the year, right? But this book launch for Profitable Founder, we wanted it to be an experience. And so we decided to bring 3 tiers for the book launch. So you can purchase just the book. Right now, the book is available for pre-order for $29. Yes, I'm doing a plug, but I'm also laying this out because it may be beneficial for you. So the pre-order is $29 for the Profitable Founder book. However, we're going to be selling this book for $147. For a book? What? First of all, it's 250 plus pages. It's fillable, it's interactive, and we're giving you an additional resource hub with 90% done for you templates. You're going to be paying $147 for this new book, right? So that's it. But because people aren't necessarily accustomed to that, we said, okay, what is a no-brainer? $29. You're not going to look twice. You're not going to think twice, grab it. So we set an end date. Go to the website, amargotblair.com/store to see when that date is. But we give a date for when that $29 is no longer available. After that date, still pre-orders, it goes up to $147 for the Profitable Founder book with some additional benefits, right? The additional learning opportunities, we have the book and a training. So they get access to all of the things, but we're going to be doing a private training for the people who do a little larger investment that's around like $500. That's for a particular type of person who may not be able to pay my premium, but they know they want to get access to some additional intellectual property that they may not get inside of the book. And then because we want this to be automated. I know that there's still value that I can deliver to the business community, but I have to do it in a way that makes me available for multiple people. Mm-hmm. And so rather than launching my academy as a 9-week program, again, we said, nope, we're not doing that. We're going to release it as a course. It's going to be self-paced. However, they get some additional value. And so we've released the academy. We have social proof for the academy. We could have sold it again for $2,900, but we chose not to do that because I'm not going to be a part of it moving forward. And so we're at the same place that the initial one was at $1,000, but they get the course, they get the book, they get a welcome party, they get a welcome kit. And so again, all that we're talking about through this conversation today around marketing is you have to do what makes sense and aligns in your industry that really caters to the people in which you're serving. You have to speak the language of those you're serving in your audience. And then as well, you have to be willing to disrupt in your industry. I know our guest today is LaNee Javet, and I'm going to allow her to share some ways that you can learn and continue growing with her. But I do have to give this book because a reference to this book. I know you know her, but it changed the game for me. Uncloned Marketing by Audrea Richmond.
Yes.
I normally don't do this. I really don't. I like figure it out yourself. No, I'm kidding.
I have a book right over there. My book is right there.
Look, Uncloned Marketing changed my mind. And so it not even changed my mind. I wanted to do some of these things that she was talking about with my releases. I'm like, I want to do an event, but no one does that. And I didn't. I've left hundreds of $1,000s on the table being scared to get things out in a way that was different than what the norm or the people in my industry were doing. Mm-hmm. I got this book and sis was like, do this, you can do this and turn it into this. And I'm like, I was thinking that the whole time. Yep. And as a final point, I want to show something else. When I say stop sitting on your gifts, I told you that the Profitable Founder book is over 250 pages. It's a fillable workbook. There's content, there's reading content in there as well, but it is really pen to paper, get yourself into action. It didn't just come out when we launched the academy last January or last year. This name is called BizMaster. This is a 300 page document, a binder that I put together in 2018 and I never told a soul. I was so scared to really get this out because no one's selling a binder. What the heck what is that? So the vision of Profitable Founder was deposited in me years before it's being seen today. Rebranded as, well, it's definitely updated as well, but as Profitable Founder. And so what I'm telling you, this is my final takeaways, and then I'll let LaNee close out as well. But you know what you have been called to do. It's time to take you back to church. God has deposited a vision inside of you. And so rather than you trying to outpace God, I invite you to go back to the one who gave you the vision in the first place and be willing to trust the longevity of your process, which requires you to stop trying to outpace God. Plain and simple. That's my takeaway. There's so much that goes into this conversation around marketing. We've been with you for 90 minutes, just providing value. So LaNee, I dropped your contact information and a complimentary resource, the Upscale Formula ebook, into the comment section. But what is one final takeaway? And I want you to invite them to work with you at a higher level as well. Honestly, beyond the complimentary resource that we provided to them today.
Absolutely, man. First of all, thank you for having me today. I always love sitting in on your conversations and listening to you and watching you and seeing you grow. I'm always impressed and proud of you and who you are and what you do. From the first day I met you, you're a little firecracker, and I call you the little big one because you are small in stature, but big, tall in vision and purpose and passion. And the words that you use to speak are just have always been amazing. If somebody wanted to work with me above and beyond this conversation, you can go to my website, LaNeeJavet.com. I do strategy sessions. My strategy sessions are about an hour and a half. I basically dig into your business. I see where you are right now, where you want to be, what's going on in your industry, who is your competition, and how can we upscale you in your industry. That is my anointing is strategy, looking at something and figuring out how to tweak it, how to make it better, how to grow it. So there's that. Like I said, I have a new thing, and I didn't even get to talk about this with pivoting, but I have a new thing that's going to be starting. I was hoping this year, but I had to push it back. I'm gonna push it to next year because I'm going to focus on some other things. But I really do want to help businesses accelerate that time. I don't want it to have to take you 3 years to get to the next level. I don't want it to take 5 years. I don't want you to have to lose a lot of money. So I created an accelerator that's a 4-month program to focus on things that you usually don't know until you're year 3, year 5. I'm going to give them to you in 4 months so that I can really help you get to where you want to be. We're not going to launch that till early next year. So just follow me on social media or join my email list in the meantime. My social media is I am LaNee Javet. It's so I am and then my name. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. And I guess the only thing I would like to leave you guys with here today is don't be afraid to put yourself out there. Like that's literally what marketing is. It's putting yourself out there. It's putting yourself out there in all your authenticity, with your flaws, with transparency, with your failures, with your mistakes, with your wins. It's being vulnerable and then putting a little change behind it so that everybody sees it. Okay. In order to do that, just make sure your brand is on point. Make sure that you look the part that you're reflecting so that it's reciprocal. What you're putting out into the world, you're receiving back. Make sure you look the part. We didn't even talk about actual marketing like graphics and watermarks and stuff like that. Make sure you are representing yourself through your brand, the way that you want people to see you and to perceive you. Make sure that your branding matches the dollar amount that you want to collect, because a lot of times we don't ask for our true value because we don't feel like we look the part or representing the part. So make sure that all of that stuff is in alignment so that you can get paid what you weigh, is what I think they say, how they say it in the streets. But all that stuff goes into alignment. Your branding, your marketing, how you present yourself, how you speak about your business, all that is reflected in the dollar amount that you ask for, how you show up, the clients that you attract. And so just don't be afraid to be you and put yourself out there and ask for what you're worth, because you deserve it.
You deserve it. Thank you, LaNee Javet. Thank you, Comerica Bank, Summer Fawcett. This was yet another dynamic, amazing, and transformational conversation whereby we are teaching you how to upscale your marketing. Definitely stay plugged in, definitely stay connected, because we have another amazing segment next month talking about SEO. So we again are so grateful because you could have been anywhere else in the world, but you were with us today. So if you were here, share with us what your major takeaway was. Share in the comment section. If you are watching the replay, definitely share with us what your major takeaway was. Take advantage of investing into yourself, the opportunity to invest into yourself. I dropped LaNee's contact information in there. I'm also dropping the pre-order for the Profitable Founder book. As I said, right now, it is available for $29, but that is going to be ending by the end of this month, and the price will increase to $147 for this transformative business and leadership development resource. So that is all for today. Yes, please.
I would like to, for somebody who's online today, I would like to sponsor a book. I'm going to buy one, but I would like to sponsor a book also. So if there's someone out there that really would like this book, get in contact with Margot.
Yep.
Or if you know somebody, or if you know someone, Margot, it doesn't matter to me how, but I will sponsor a book for someone.
Okay. Perfect. Yep. I'll look into that. I'll definitely pray over a few people, because there's a couple people when you said that who come to mind. So
okay, perfect.
We'll definitely get that done. thank you. And that's the way to close it out. Definitely invest into yourself. And if there's, for whatever reason, that you don't have the financial means to do so now, be willing to ask, and then reach out to us, because again, when it comes to strategy, we kill it. And so there's ways that we can help you strategize on how to position yourself to end up investing into a coach at a later date. So today, that is all we have for the conversation of upscaling your marketing. And we look forward to seeing you again next month. Bye for now.